Yeah, this is just to hopefully let you guys know not to do what I did. Um, Recently, I noticed that my gear indicator for sixth gear was not always working. It would work sometimes, or it would flash, and so I at first didn't really know what it was until I started looking it up online and then in the service manual, and turns out that everything pointed to this little switch right there. I'll put it a bit better photo of it, but at first I just put it between fifth and sixth and jiggled it a few times and it would work, and then I thought it was good, and then the next day I would ride and the sixth gear would go out again. Now the gear indicator is not essential. I mean, I know that it's in sixth gear and it was just the one gear, but it was just kind of a little bit of an annoyance. And so what I did is I ordered a new switch, and it was only like $41, but I waited, and it came, from Babbitt's online pretty fast, and then I replaced it, and then now it works perfectly. But after the fact, I looked at the old switch, and here it is. Here. See, it's got the 1/6 pin connector for all the different gears, and then the individual pigtail that's for the neutral safety switch. And what happened, and let's see if the camera will capture this or not, is there's a little round contactor that's got kind of a round cone on it, and it goes around here and it grounds out. Okay, so whichever one it's grounding out is the indicator that you get. And you see the little small little connector here, that one is for the neutral. And so what happened over the years, it wore a groove in everything, because the contactor down on the transmission is round and it seems polished, but it's steel, and this is just brass and plastic. And so I think that it just wore a groove in it. And so I put the new one in. It works perfectly. But then, since then, I took this is the old one, and you see how it's all very nice and smooth. Well, what I did is I laid it on some emery paper, some sandpaper, and real fine sandpaper, and I sanded out the grooves, and then I polished it with some plastic polish or metal polish. And so the reason I'm making this is I don't think it was necessary to spend the $41 plus shipping when I could have probably just repaired this instead, because I think it wore out just enough that it stopped working. But at the time, I had not taken the switch off, and I didn't know how it really worked. I didn't know if it was something mechanical with the switch, because I can see that it's sealed, and this is kind of a rubber, kind of a silicone, kind of a sealer where the wires go in. And so I really didn't know what I was getting into. But now you know, if you start having issues like this, I would definitely take this off and try and repair it first. Just smooth it out and then put it back together. And the book says that you have to replace this O-ring, but I mean, this O-ring, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's still pliable and very rubbery. I think Yamaha just says that because they want to sell more stuff. But and there's nothing special about the O-ring. You could just, you could get it at a hardware store instead of spending the $2 for the OEM. But it works perfectly now, and now I have a spare switch that I'm sure that after I refurbished it, it's totally fine now. So, I'm not going to try to send it back because I already installed it. But hopefully this will save you guys some money, because this is how it works. It just screws right in with Allen screws, and it was a little bit of a. It really wasn't very hard to take off. You have to remove your plastics and then raise up the gas tank, because the connectors are underneath the gas tank right here, and a little bit of a tight squeeze, but it was really fairly straightforward. And then just stringing the wires between the frame and there's a plastic block right here, but it's fairly straightforward, fairly easy. and save your money. I think this is very, very repairable. Or if you can live with the intermittent gear indicator being out, that's fine too. So, or ride safe out there, and say goodbye, Demi.